Good evening. I'm James Siniak. I'm your Libertarian candidate for the U.S. Senate race. Here in Indiana, we have some exciting things going on. This past weekend, we brought in Spike, and we had an incredible weekend with Spike, including the Roll It Back rally. Tonight, we have Tonya Millis, our congressional district, who did that rally with me. Welcome, Tonya, and then always welcome Chris Groff, who does our IT behind the scenes. How are you guys doing? How's the night going?
It's going great.
Going real good. Now, can you really say that I'm behind the scenes when I'm on the stream every week?
Well, you do the technical side behind the scenes, and and in front of the scenes you look great. So there's that. But back to the rollback rally, Tanya, that was amazing. I can tell you one of my favorite highlights. But let's start with you. How did you think it went? What was the message that we got across? And what was it like having Spike at the rally?
Well, it was so exciting. It was a beautiful day. The venue was great. Being in a gymnasium like that, the field house down in Jeffersonville, we had a pretty good crowd. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And James brought a basketball, and the crowd was just really enjoying themselves. And Spike, he's so full of life and very intelligent and informative, and he gave a really good speech, as well as Jeff and James too. James is always well versed when he's talking to the people. So, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
And my highlight was when you decided to do a cartwheel. We had a little bit of a bet behind the scenes. She said I had to bring a basketball, and then I might get to see something fun, and I did. Tonya Millis, probably the only congressional candidate that you will see do a cartwheel. That was awesome, Tanya. Thanks for doing that.
Well, and I was told that it was in perfect form, even in high heel shoes. So,
Well, it was better than my half court shot. I missed. I was 0 for 2, so there was that. Thanks, Jake Johnson, for watching tonight, and thanks, Josh, for watching tonight from Kosciuszko County.
Speaking of cartwheels, I'm going to go ahead and hold you there for a second, James. I have a little challenge to put out there. I went ahead and made a banner for it just for you.
Oh, no.
We can get $500 by, I don't know why that says Friday. I'll blame myself. September 7th, 1 week, we will post a video of James doing a cartwheel, whether he can do it or not.
Uh-oh.
So spread the word. $500 and James does a cartwheel.
I did not know this challenge was going out, but I guess you could potentially see me doing a cartwheel. But that does bring up a good point on both of our races. We absolutely do need funding. Tanya's got some billboards up. Tell us a little bit about that process and how exciting that is to see your campaign spreading the word through your district.
Well, we're on the move in District 9, and I'm going to hold a map up for a second of Indiana, if I could.
Yep.
And if you could see this area right here in pink, right there, it's 17 counties. That's the 9th district that I have to cover, unlike James, who has to cover the whole state of Indiana. But still, 17 counties for a congressional candidate is a lot of ground to cover. And my team is, the Roll It Back team is rolling down the tracks everywhere we can in all the counties and going to fairs and festivals and, anywhere where there's a group of people. So it's good though. It's positive feedback. We do have 4 billboards up in 4 different counties. So we're happy about that. And, yeah, it's going good. The vibe I'm hearing from the people is much better than it was 2 years ago when I ran. As everybody knows, 2 years ago it was a contentious presidential election. So it was either Trump or Biden, of course, and the country was so divided, and it was kind of a little nasty at times. But in my district, which leans red, most of the people walked in and just pressed the lever for Trump and walked out, and that was an automatic vote for my opponent. So this time in the midterms, being that it's not a presidential race or a governor's race in our state, the other candidates, state race, the Secretary of State, and the congressional candidates, as well as the lower ballot, the people are more open to look at the libertarians now. So at least that's what I'm hearing. I don't know if James is getting the same feedback I am, but it's been very positive.
It absolutely has been positive around this state. Real quick, a reminder that fundraising is a top priority for both of our campaigns, and we're talking a little bit about billboards. But also, I wanted to remind you that this is a Wednesday night town hall, so we welcome any questions from our viewers. If you have anything that is a concern on the congressional level, whether it be for Congress or whether it be for the Senate race, we do take those questions on this Wednesday night. So it's one of my favorite parts is hearing from you guys. It is a two-way conversation. Tonya, you have a big event tomorrow and some events coming up.
Yeah. Okay. And also I want to follow up on what you were just saying with fundraising and raising money. If people want to show Tonya a little love, go to my website, tonyaforcongress.com, and there's a contributions tab there. And also you can learn a lot about me and my issues. There's a roll it back section on my website where I give a weekly opinion every week on a topic of the week, on how, as a congressional representative for the people, I would want to be able to roll back certain rules and regulations and taxes, and whatever the topic of the week is. I try to give an opinion on that so people can read what is going on in my head. And if they like what they see, donate, even if it's only $5, if that's all you got, extra change in your pocket, but I'd be happy to take it, if not more. TonyaForCongress.com. And James was talking about future events. There's a birthday fundraiser tomorrow evening in Brown County. It's a dinner, a champagne reception and dinner. So it's a high-end, nice dinner that we're having, compared to the hot dogs and hamburgers that I eat most every other day or every week. A bologna sandwich, whatever I can get my hands on. So, but the main event that that's coming up that I want to talk about is the IN for Indiana in Liberty Bash, the second annual in Liberty Bash that the Libertarian Party of Lawrence County is hosting. It's in downtown Bedford, across from the courthouse. And we did it last year and we're doing it again. There's a big stage. We're going to have 2 bands, and there's a dunk tank and a little play on words, the candidates in the tank. We have candidates, including me, that is going to get in the tank. So if the voters want to take a shot at us, they can. It's a fundraiser for our affiliation. And we're also going to have, I'm pretty sure there's going to be cornhole games there, a cornhole tournament. So I think if any of your listeners like to play or compete in cornhole, we're going to have that there as well. Donald Rainwater's coming down. He's going to speak, and James is going to be there. I believe you are, right, James?
I am. So
okay, good. I thought you were. So yeah, you're going to be speaking.
I was told to bring my swim
ahead.
trunk. I was told to bring my swim trunks, so I'm assuming I will also be in the dunk tank. But I guess you'll have to come and find out.
What weekend is this?
It's Saturday the 10th, a week from this coming. It's not this Saturday, the following Saturday, September 10th, and it starts at 2:00. There's another event going on the courthouse grounds right before us that they might still be there, but they're welcome to come and hang with us and have some fun. So yeah, it's going to be a good time.
And here's my call to my cornhole partner. Fun story. She actually is incredibly good, but Cassie up in Kosciuszko County. I'm just saying whoever ends up partnering with her, nobody else has a shot. So
well, that's good to know. I'll pass that on to the guys that are setting up the cornhole tournaments. I think we're going to have 2 sets of boards, so we'll have 2 going on at the same time. And I'm not really sure how the tournament works. I know they narrow it down till you get to the finalists, but yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly how they're running that, but I think they're going to try to make it as professional as possible without being professional.
There we go. Vegas odds. We'll find out what those are for that event.
We did get our first question.
Awesome.
So I'll go ahead and jump in here from Jake Johnson. How do you plan to get a grasp on the wasteful spending and especially the wasted spending sent to upkeep the astounding 77,000 vacant federal properties?
So obviously we can look at many things with spending, and this is one stat that I actually have not seen. So it's awesome to see this. But these are the kind of stats that come up as we do research. And look, so much money is just simply being wasted. And that's the point of having a more accountable government and rolling it back, as Tonya likes to say. But rolling back that spending and really prioritizing where our tax dollars are going, we really have to look at that. And for me, I've really been an advocate for something very similar to Rand Paul's penny plan, and that's basically looking at budgets and reducing it by that 1% to 2%. And but yeah, when we look at something like vacant federal properties, there's no reason that we should have that financial burden as taxpayers, especially if they're not being utilized for any good for our communities. So that is a definite concern. Thanks, Jake, for bringing that up.
And if I might add, there's a lot of federal properties that aren't vacant that we need to sell and get rid of because there's some bloated bureaucracies that need to shrink. So yeah,
absolutely.
Not just the vacant ones, but the ones that have some federal people in them. They need to get another job.
So, and specifically with my vet care program, that's one of the things I look at is the VA and how we could reduce physical property sizes just by giving people direct care and direct freedom with their medical care, how veterans can have that with my veterans personal care account. We can reduce some of those properties. And like Tonya said, just looking at a more accountable way to do it.
Yep.
Great answers, especially let's cut down all of the buildings, not the vacants. I know we've actually had one in Brownsburg. I think it sat for like 2 years completely empty. And Brownsburg's not that big. It's not small, but we're not that big that we should have an entire building that's just there.
Yep.
It's wild. So where were we before I jumped in with the question? I've lost track.
Well, we were talking about cornhole, and then I said the Vegas odds. We'll figure those out. Cassie did respond. I saw that she does love cornhole, so can't call me a liar. Can confirm what I'm saying here.
She didn't say she was good at it. She just said she loved it.
Well, if you've seen her play, she's just being humble by not bragging. I don't think I saw one person win against her.
Yeah, I bet she is good at it. I'm not.
I
might be good at the dunk tank because all I have to do is sit there.
Now, do you do the antagonizing too when they're throwing the ball? That's always my favorite.
Oh yeah.
So funny story. We went to the 50th anniversary for the LP as a whole together. Cassie, myself, Liz, and Chris Galt. And so we were all having fun playing cornhole. And something super exciting happened. I think Cassie hit her third or fourth one in a row. And we get really loud. And whoever was speaking on stage, which was Larry Sharp, if you know him from New York, big libertarian name, he just all of a sudden looks our way and directs a comment of like, you guys are being way too loud. But yeah, we're very serious about our cornhole in Indiana. So a little bit about my calendar coming up. I did want to address the she says Larry Sharp. I don't know if I said Sharp or not, but Larry Sharp, yeah, from New York. And anyways, back to events for me. I'm going to the Blueberry Festival, so I will be in that parade on the 1st. As of right now, it looks like I'm going to be in Warsaw this Friday for First Fridays. That's still up in the air, but it may be a possibility that I make it. So those are a couple of my events coming up. And
where's the Blueberry Festival at?
That one is Marshall County. And let me make sure I got my festivals correct because okay, so Blueberry is Plymouth.
Is that up north?
Yep, it's up north. It's in Marshall County. So yeah, that'll be the first, or sorry, the third is the actual parade, and I'll be up there for that.
Yeah, because the first is tomorrow.
Yep.
I can't believe we're getting ready to hit September.
It's going by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it would help if I looked at the right month. The 5th is the Monday, and that's when the parade is. Yep, and I found it. It is Blueberry Festival, so I'm super excited about that event.
It does sound like fun. And we know you're always traveling, so you're always somewhere.
I am, and you can find me around the state, but I do like to point out where I will be. Speaking of fundraisers, Chris put out a challenge for a cartwheel. We'll see if we can raise that 500 by his set date. That was a little bit of a surprise earlier. But on a further note, if you are interested in one of my T-shirts, we just got 100 of them printed up. Chris has his on tonight. I have mine on. But it's a $20 recommended donation. But just the fact that you can basically be a walking billboard for my campaign. That's an absolute priority, that we do the grassroots movement. And when people see us, people really putting their faith behind someone and willing to wear that T-shirt, that says a lot to voters, and they'll start looking at campaigns. So definitely consider donating the $20 for T-shirts as well.
And that $20 can go towards seeing a James possibly fail doing a cartwheel.
I don't know why this has become a thing, Tonya. I guess you just set the bar that high.
I feel like I need to see it, so I was like, I want to see it, so
Okay, all right, fair enough.
it's gonna happen. You just wait.
Tonya, what is one question that you've had in the last couple weeks? Even I know you did canvassing, door knocking. Was there anything particular about door knocking or a question that you got that really stuck out this last couple of weeks?
I think what stood out for me was the common thread that the American people are finally getting fed up with the broken two-party system. As you know, our founding fathers did not want a two-party monopoly, and so many of the citizens, they're either Republican or Democrat. That's the way it's been for so long. But now many people, especially in the younger generations, are more independent and more libertarian. And when actually a lot of the Republicans are Democrats, many of them are libertarian and don't know it. But they're starting to, and it might be because of us. It might be because of Donald Rainwater and you and Jeff and people before us, libertarians, getting out there, beating the drum and not giving up. And so now that the Libertarian Party is growing, especially in Indiana, and our voices are being heard, people are listening to us and finally realizing, hey, there's a better option. And so when I've been talking to people, they're agreeing and they're saying, yeah, we're done with them. So that commonality there is something I'm starting to hear more and more. So I think there might be some surprises on November 8th, this election, not just in Indiana, but I've seen some really strong candidates in other states. So, and I'm talking about libertarians. So we might see some wins. Definitely hoping that, I win my race, which it's a long shot, but the door is open. I just need to figure out how to kick that door in and get through it. But it's very positive. I'm getting good feedback, but also I'm seeing that libertarian candidates all across the board in other parts of the state are also doing very well and getting positive feedback. The enthusiasm in the state of Indiana for libertarians is wonderful. And I know James is getting some good looks, and Jeff Moore's getting a lot of attention too. So the media is starting to pick us up. So I'm feeling really good about November 8th.
That's very exciting. And I've seen a lot of the same. Just people I've talked to, they're starting to come out more, wanting to know more information about us because they don't like the way things are going. And I believe it was you that said it. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and then voting for the same politicians over and over and over again. That's the wasted vote. That's insanity. Mm-hmm.
And it is. We did have a question from Larry on when are the Senate debates. Those are on October 16th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, I'm absolutely excited that Todd Young finally agreed to a debate. I really wanted him to agree to 3 debates, but it looks like I will get one shot, and I'm going to use that one shot to my advantage. That's really all I need to show Hoosiers that he is not an ideal choice, especially when it comes to spending, smaller government, lower taxes. All he is wants big government and wants to invade your privacy. Looking at things like the Patriot Act or Safer Communities Act, which actually goes against the Second Amendment. We absolutely have an opportunity here, and the debates is going to be a fun way to bring that out. So October 16th, really important date to remember, that will be televised all over the state.
I'm looking forward to that. My campaign manager, Chris Galt, is working with the Democrat team, my opponent, to try to set up a debate for sometime in October. We have a possible date, which I can't say yet because we're not locked in. But there's some things in the works. We're hoping to get that scheduled. It looks like the Republican opponent is not going to participate. I haven't gotten the definite no yet, but from what we're hearing, or should I say, lack of response is what we're getting. So the debate might just be between 2 people. But if she doesn't appear, there will be an empty podium with her name on it. So, but we're behind the scenes trying to work to set up a debate as well.
And see, that's where I really think the problem lies, is with the Republican Party right now. They don't feel like they have to come out. They don't have to answer. They win their primary. They're already assuming that they won. They're walking in on that day. And that's not right. It shouldn't be that way.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, a little sidebar, because I see Danny posting some things here. James is actually doing a fantasy football draft right now as well, if he seems a little extra distracted. I'm a little concerned about his first couple of picks, if these are his picks that are getting posted.
Yes, they are my picks, and I had to do a lot of it on auto draft beforehand. So Danny is updating me live. So whoever says I can't multitask, this is proof that I can, because of course fantasy football.
And what people don't realize is that's why James invited me to come on, so that I could talk while he's playing football. Keep talking, Tonya. I'm playing football.
But yeah, fantasy football, fun way to create an atmosphere of competition that lasts throughout the football season. Back to my half court shot, which was absolutely terrible. Basketball and fantasy football and cornhole, 3 things that really matter to Hoosiers. So let's prioritize those. No taxes on cornholes, no taxes on fantasy football, no taxes on basketball games. So let's do it.
No taxes on cartwheels.
No taxes on cartwheels.
Only a $500 donation to get James to do one. That's all. Oof.
So, Tonya, you said a little bit about the debates. What else are you most looking forward to in the upcoming month, or even just up to election day? What is something you're really looking forward to doing?
Well, one of the things that I always like to do is talking to the people. So I do like, well, I've always been one to like to go to fairs and festivals anyway. So campaigning while I'm there having fun is just an added bonus, and I like doing that. As far as after Labor Day, when we get closer to the election, there's a lot more media interviews, and I always enjoy doing those as well. So I'm looking forward to, you know, video spots and interviews, and whether it be on radio or TV. So looking forward to that. The itineraries, and I know James is pretty booked from now until election day, but sometimes it's hard to keep up, you know, week to week, day to day, and it's fluid. I know my schedule changes every other day. You know, I'll have a list of things, and then things will get moved around and added, and this and that. So, but I like that. I'm high energy, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got that at the rally of, you know, very high energy, very enthusiastic just to talk to people. It's refreshing because you don't really see people like that very often that are willing to just come up, especially a politician, or fingers crossed, a politician that will just come up and be like, hey, how are you? What's going on with you? How can I help you? And I feel that's what we need now.
And I want to be seriously the people's voice. And I wasn't kidding when I said, you know, my friends will tell you I have a loud mouth, you know, a big mouth. So not in a negative way. I'm just not afraid to say what needs to be said to the people that it needs to be said to. So if I'm elected, when I go to Washington, D.C., I will be the people's voice. I'm not going to be their boss or some elite politician. I will be humbled at what I'm there to do, is to serve the people in my district. So that's the plan, because we've never had that. We haven't had that in decades, a real voice for the people in my district. So it needs to be someone that's, you know, of the people, by the people, for the people, for real, and not some career politician that's never had a real job. So that, which is what we've had quite often, and not just in my district, but, you know, some of these guys in Washington, D.C. has been there 30, 40 years. That's ridiculous. And it's not meant to be that way. So I'm for term limits.
Well, and I believe that you touched on something just then, and it's something that I've said throughout my whole campaign, is that Washington politicians no longer view it as a public servant position, and really anyone who is elected should be a public servant first. And it really comes down to that servant leadership of how do we represent our constituents, but remember that they are our boss, and that's something that Todd Young has forgotten. Most of those people in DC have forgotten that really they are accountable to us, the Hoosiers and constituents. And so I know that both of us really want to bring that back, is that public service, and make sure that we know what comes first is the rights of the people, their constitutional rights and their freedoms.
Well said. Mhm.
All right, so we're hitting about that 28-minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll start with Tonya. Any closing thoughts? Give your elevator pitch.
Well, I think your viewers are starting to get to know me. And like I said, TonyaForCongress.com if you want to learn more about the issues that I care about and my platform. Yes, thank you. It's TonyaForCongress.com, and then there's a contributions button there. And I've got, you know, the Constitution I carry around with me in my purse. I've got one in my glove box. I've got extra copies at home. So I hope more and more people will read the Constitution, because it was written for the layman. It was not written for lawyers. It wasn't written for politicians to read. It was literally written for the people to read and understand. And it's not that hard. So if people read it, they will realize that so much of their freedoms and liberties have been taken away. So I hope they'll vote Libertarian come November 8th.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tonya, for coming on. Thanks for sharing a little bit about your race and what's going on. I'm so excited about the races that are happening across Indiana and all the congressional district, or in the 7th and 8th and 9th districts, as well as the 2nd district. And think I hit all the Congress candidates there. But what's happening across our state? And it's really exciting to see voices advocate for freedom, for lower taxes, for a more accountable government, and making sure that we know what public servants are about. Again, thanks for listening in tonight. We always appreciate the questions, and I love doing these town halls. I apologize. Last week we had a last minute something happened that I couldn't end up making it last week. But you can look forward to these town halls every Wednesday. And if you have questions, always feel free to submit those. Thanks for listening in tonight. You can with my campaign right now, funding is at an absolute essential point that we really need to get some advertising done, and that includes billboards. That includes hopefully radio ads, and that's all done and made possible by you guys, because my campaign is funded by we the people. It's not lobbyist money. I'm not buying this election. It's something that I feel is really important. If I want to represent the people, I also only take money from we the people. So consider donating at my campaign. $20 for the t-shirt. Trying to raise that 500 by next Wednesday. Apparently they want to do a video with me in a cartwheel. I don't think it'll make a very good TikTok or a very good video, but hey, if you guys want to prove me wrong, then donate. And I appreciate everybody. www.ceniacforsenate.com/donate. And again, www.ceniacforsenate. Thanks again. Have a great night.